They are rage, brutal, without mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear, until it is done.
We have to contain this.
Soviet Union.
Hell yeah!
Cannot determine the cause of the demonic invasion until the Rezop satellite is brought back online.
Right, all I did was go into the office of my apartment development, right, and they refused to give me the form. I'll talk about that in a minute. This guy walked into the office when I was there, and now here he is parked out here, right? Stop stalking me, right? Don't ever stalk me again.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
About what?
Don't ever stalk me again.
No weapons, alright, no.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is the same thing.
And get out of the car?
Yes.
No, I'm not getting out of the car.
All
You
right.
can go get your superior.
Well, I am going to tow this car, and you cannot be in the vehicle while I'm towing this vehicle.
Well, if you go get your superior,
That's not
he'll
gonna happen right
clarify that he can be set free because he does not
That's
have
not
to have
going
a
to happen
license.
right now, young lady. So either you're going to come out of the car on your own free will, or I'm going to assist you.
I'm gonna get out of the car and walk down to that house.
No, you are not free to leave right now.
Are you saying you have authority over me?
Yes, I do.
You have proven authority over me.
Yes, I do.
How did you do that?
The County of Imperial through the sheriff.
You do not have authority over a human being,
All right,
over
well,
a free
you know what?
inhabitant.
Do you want to argue the point?
You need to go look up your
I don't
laws.
have to look at anything right now. What I need to do is get you out of the vehicle. If you have identification, please hand the identification over to me.
No.
Identify yourself to me.
And I'm not going to step out of the vehicle.
Cannot be allowed to leave this place. He will ruin everything.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand. Our interest in their world was purely for the betterment of mankind. Everything has clearly gotten out of hand now, yes. But it was worth the risk, I assure you.
So, I got out of hell for this. This is my welcome home. Hello, for those of you who don't know who I am. I'm the Doomguy. Pretty iconic person, you might say. I'm not here to talk about that. No, I'm here to talk about what disgraceful bullcrap I woke up to. Where do I even start? Okay. So, today we're going to be looking at this one person. This Green. What is this? What kind of a name is that? What happened to simple names like BJ? Or things like that. Or Daisy or whatever. Anyway, so this person talking about their taking a red pill. Basically, they're, in the long run, just complaining about how they don't want to grow up and how life's being a bunch of bullcrap. What to do? Okay, so the summary of this video is, in this video, she will discuss her approach to feminism in more detail, highlighting a departure she makes from what appears to be majority opinion skepticism. She goes on to describe her history on YouTube, contextualizing her recent experience with anti-SJW forms of censorship and replacing real engagements with offensive political ideas to illustrate her. Sorry, folks, I'm really... When you're locked up in a coffin for a few millennia, it's hard to read anything that isn't demon. So, to illustrate her point, she discusses recent free speech controversies within the feminist, anti-feminist spheres. Milo Yiannopoulos, in the philosophy journal, Hypatia, whatever that is. Somebody help me read. At the end of the video, she makes an announcement. So basically, we're gonna have a snowflake that decides to tell us why we're all loads of bullcrap. And, well, you know. Whoop-de-freaking-do. So, let's dive into this brain cancer known as feminism that I have been so rudely woken up to. What happened to the good old days of the UAC open another freaking hell portal? Ah!
Okay, making this video. Hi, Internet! I'm back!
Well, welcome back, you mental screw-up. Nice to see you return.
Did you miss me? Don't answer that if you're mean.
Oh, I get it. Right off the bat, she's making it clear that if we don't agree with her, or if we're gonna say anything she may not like, that she's gonna have a problem. So there we go. No, I didn't miss you. I wish you would have stayed in that scum-rotten pit you call a home.
I certainly missed you guys. It's been a few months since I've been on YouTube. Longest break I've ever taken, but it was very much needed, and I feel so good. I think social media detox is very nice.
Well, then maybe you should do us all a favor and stay off of it.
So I wanted to fill you all in on some stuff that's been going on since I've been on break. I haven't been completely removed from the internet. If you are active in the conversation about feminism and social justice warriors, you may have noticed that I've been talking to and hanging out with some anti-feminist YouTubers. This has apparently really confused people. There have been thousands of tweets and emails and people freaking out, like, what is going on?
Confused. People who are not feminists are apparently confused, according to this person. Are they confused, or do they just have a different opinion? Because the two have a different meaning. Confused is when you don't know what you think. Your brain cannot comprehend what the information it is being given is meaning. When you are confused, you don't understand. The response or at least the proper and more common response to being confused, is acting freaking confused. Which involves being things like saying, oh, I don't know what this means, or I don't understand, or this is confusing me, or things along those lines. When somebody disagrees with you, that means that they understand what you're saying just fine, and they think you are wrong. The side effects of disagreeing normally are along the lines of saying, I disagree, or I believe you are wrong, and sometimes includes being backed up by facts. Or, in many people's cases, like yours, opinions, which opinions cannot back things up without facts. So, I ask you this. Are they confused, or do they just disagree? Because I have a feeling that they understand just fine, and just disagree.
After all, I, Lacey Green, am the very pinnacle of a social justice warrior. My SJW-ness has been memeified with statements like, everything is problematic, and there are more than two genders, and America is racist.
So you not only admit to your scumbaggery and overall the fact that you are a piece of crap, you not only admit to that, but you're freaking proud of it? I made the devil wet his pants. That, my friend, is something to be proud of. That is something to have memes made of. If that's such a big deal, I mean, look, you will almost never find a Doom meme that says I'm a bad character or something. Nah. No, you are literally bragging about being a scumbag, and shut up! You are not only admitting to it, you're proud of it. Ask yourself this. Well, actually, ask yourself these two things. One, is being on a meme seriously that big of a deal? Anybody can be on a meme. But the more important question you should ask yourself, are those memes actually meant to be good things about you? Or are they letting everybody know just how much of a scum stain you are on this planet?
But now, at pro-Trump rallies, I'm told by reliable sources, there's talk that I'm being red-pilled in the Matrix sense, not so much the pickup artist sense. The red pill is a meme that refers to this realization that the world isn't nearly as simple as you thought it was. The question, of course, is what is the truth? What is the truth? And how bad do you want to know?
Okay. So, what she's saying is that she took this red pill and it was feminism. What she's saying. Does that make it true? No. I'm gonna just take this little chunk here and chop it up piece by piece. Let's deal with the retard in the room. I've heard the Matrix reference before. You take the blue pill, I believe. Yes, yeah, you take the blue pill, you stay in the Matrix, you stay in the lie. You take the red pill, you exit the Matrix. You see the truth, you see reality. That's what that means. She's right there. For once, she got something freaking right. But what really bugs me the most about this, even more than her saying that the lie she chose to believe is the truth, is how she ended that. Which is the truth, and do you really want to know? What she just said is basically, which do you want to be the truth? And do you really want to know if you're right or wrong? She's telling you that it is okay to make something up and call it the truth and not listen to reality. She literally pointed out the problem with her own statement there, and it pisses me off what she's saying. She is saying that it is okay to believe a lie. That the universe will work fine if you don't believe the truth. To quote a very, very wise man, facts don't care about your feelings. If you're choosing not to believe the truth, it is because you don't want to have to feel hurt. If I would have thought that way, I wouldn't have gone through hell and back. I wouldn't be the legend I am, but let's put this on some more relatable grounds. If people thought that way, America would not be here. The Revolutionary War would have never happened. World War II would have never happened. America would not exist. Nothing would ever exist because people would be too busy believing their lies so they don't need to get hurt. We would be living in caves. If humanity still existed, that is, we would have probably died off a long time ago, if that's how we all thought.
In some sense, I took the red pill a long time ago. It's why I do what I do. My YouTube stuff has always been about the pursuit of forbidden knowledge. And while yes, I am a feminist, I wouldn't describe myself as the ideologue that people sometimes make me out to be. I feel that things tend to be messier than that. And
oh, so you're saying that there's an even better example of a scumbag out there? Well then, by all means, continue.
And frankly, that's the way I like it. So, let's get messy.
Oh, starting to get a little kinky.
So here's some context about me. I used to be Mormon, pretty intensely so. You know, when I was 12 years old, there were adults telling me that my spiritual destiny is to be perpetually pregnant. Cute, right?
Well, that explains why your brain is going through so much trauma. It's been mentally destroyed by Mormonism.
I'm also half Iranian. Funny enough, my grandparents were political rebels in their day, speaking truth to power during the revolution in 1979. It's actually pretty badass, and it makes me feel like rebellion runs in my blood.
No, you freaking retard. That doesn't mean anything. If you're gonna be rebellious against whatever government or whatever you're dealing with, you better have a good reason. Now, if you're saying you have a good reason, well, I'm happy to tell you why you don't, but at least you think you got one. But what it sounds like you're saying here is it sounds like you're saying you're being rebellious just because your ancestors were. You don't actually have a reason. You're just doing it because you can. You're doing it because you want to. You don't really have anything to justify it by. Stupid piece of leftist bullcrap you are.
But as a teenager, I got a little bit lost in all of this, as you do. So my first YouTube channel that I started when I was 17 was about skepticism and philosophy. Then, when I was 19, I created a series called Sex Plus.
Oh yeah, 'cause we all want to get our philosophy and stuff from a 17-year-old. Okay? Do you see the problem with that? 17-year-olds are so chocked up on hormones that it is ridiculous. It is a miracle that they can get anything straight. And of course, we're gonna want to learn about sex and all that crap from a 19-year-old, okay? I don't care whether you mean what you're doing in bed or what you mean by gender. I'm not gonna take that from a 19-year-old. Go out and live life, come back when you're 40, and then I'll listen.
Which is dedicated to helping young people who, like me, had been told that their sexuality was bad or wrong, that they're less than because of their gender or sexual orientation, and so forth. So,
oh, what a load of bull crap. Nobody's judging you because of your gender or sexual orientation. Don't give me that bull. Heck, you're a woman. Women get things great in America. They get paid more in the long run. They get treated better. They even get more sympathy, dang it. Don't give me this all that. Okay? You guys have successfully gotten to a point where nobody has made fun of people. Nobody causes problems for people because you're a woman or because you're gay or because you're black or whatever. That's not real. Okay? That hasn't been around for a long time. Racism is gone. Sexism is gone. Homophobia was made up. It never existed in the first place. Okay, there's just some people that are really disgusted with the idea of a guy sticking his member up another guy's butthole. Okay? You're feeding me a bunch of dog crap. Shut up.
So this is the type of stuff that forms the core of my feminism, which I would describe as intersectional, sex positive, and skeptical. Skeptical, as in not easily convinced of stuff. Science is my rubric wherever possible because we're all prone to human error. Science isn't perfect, but it helps reduce those errors by a lot.
No, it doesn't. Science is the study of the world around us and how it works. It does not help keep our skepticism in check. You can use it to back up what you say, but it's not going to keep a person from being skeptic. It's not made to do that. And actually, since science is the study of the world around us and how it works, science is perfect. The people who study science are not. Science works 100%, but the methods that the people come up with to use science don't. Idiot.
At the end of the day, we all have true beliefs and we all have false beliefs. Skepticism is about acknowledging that. It's questioning even the seemingly unquestionable and being willing to adjust our beliefs as we get new information. In truth, I want to engage with criticism, but it's really hard to do online. There's a lot of hostility, things escalate super quickly, people don't really seem to be listening to each other, it's just a shit show.
Welcome to the internet. Everything on the internet is a shite show of some kind. Seriously, if you're gonna have a problem with that because the internet's full of crapheads who don't listen, well then maybe you shouldn't be on the internet. And it's not limited to just the internet either. Try and debate anybody on this sort of crap. Everybody will be the same. In fact, trying to debate it will make their position stronger for them. They will have to defend it, and they will be standing stronger in their position. Just because you're on the internet doesn't mean it's any worse or any better or anything like that. The internet is full of this stuff, whether it be on politics all the way down to whether or not you should get a Big Mac for dinner. If you can't accept that, maybe you just shouldn't be on the internet. Dummy.
So I went down the rabbit hole of anti-SJW videos, and I found that some are pretty disrespectful.
So is like 110% of the internet. It's the internet. People don't need to be respectful. They can hide behind an account picture or a text box. Or a Discord call for all that matters. They don't actually need to be there to take the consequences. So they can go all out and be disrespectful. That's just the internet for you. It's gonna be like this whether you're talking about SJWs or whether or not somebody stole your frickin' kill in a video game. That's the internet. Very rarely are people respectful on the internet. So to say that you go digging in anti-SJW videos and to say that you found some pretty disrespectful videos is the same as saying you dug around in a haystack and found hay. The internet is made of disrespectful. The internet is disrespectful, dang it. Grow up.
not all the channels. I've recently found anti-SJW channels that are well-cited and reasoned, you know, make some interesting points.
Well, at least you've got enough smarts in that freaking rotting brain of yours to admit that not everybody's a douchebag.
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I agree with that, or I didn't really think of that. And sometimes I disagree, in which case, you know, I still feel it's beneficial for me to listen and consider another perspective. It helps me learn. So I decided to reach out to some. And, you know, I was pleasantly surprised. People have been pretty kind to me.
Well, I'll be damned. Holy crap, you're actually starting to say some smart things. I'll give you credit for that. You're able to admit these things. That is good. I am seriously proud of you for that. Most feminists and leftists don't have the gut to do that. But now you have to look at it some other way. Maybe, just maybe, you are looking at it wrong in the fact that, no, it's not that there are some polite people there, but that there are actually a decent amount. Now, I know what you're gonna do. Oh, but what about what you said before about the internet? Yeah, that's the internet for you. That doesn't change. But there are still polite people out there, and I'm not talking about the internet right now. I'm talking about the people she's bringing up. I'm talking about the people she's talking about. These anti-SJWs. We all know that they're actually conservatives, so I'll be calling them that. Conservatives tend to not be moronic jerks. They try to be polite. They try to be nice. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. You're looking at this as these people are the small group of polite people on the internet. Or maybe you should look at this as conservatives are actually polite and not these jerks that people tend to paint them to be. Food for thought for you there, Missy.
And, you know, I'll be honest, I didn't really expect that. No judgment, no vitriol. I even feel like I have a really good connection with a couple of new friends. But not everyone is so hunky-dory about it. Good friends of mine, feminists, have been a little bit skeptical of me. They expressed the opinion that talking to antis or problematic people is, you know, not going to be worth the time, that it won't be fruitful, that I'm engaging with bigots and validating their perspectives, that I'm offering a platform to bullies, things like that.
Ah, yes, the left's classic arguments about the conservatives. We're all a bunch of racist, sexist, bigot homophobes. At least you're smart enough to admit that not all of us are like that. There are conservatives who can be jerks at times. They're very small. You're still looking at this wrong. You're looking at the internet. Maybe you should look at the people with a certain opinion. Because if you did, you'd find there's more people like this than you'd imagine. They just tend to keep to themselves on the internet. Okay? Again, just more food for thought. But good job on actually talking like a smart person that isn't degenerate.
While I can appreciate this perspective, I fundamentally disagree with it. So let me go down another rabbit hole here. Social justice communities lately have been arguing that bigoted ideas, you know, this harmful speech should be suppressed because it allows the bigotry to spread and to be validated. I'm thinking of campaigns to get people's Twitters banned, you know, book deals canceled, talks canceled, things like that. Ironically, this sounds very similar to the logic that is used by the right to censor sex ed. Information about sex has been deemed too harmful to hear. It'll encourage immoral behavior and speed social decay. Two sides of the same coin. The question is, what counts as harm?
And of course, you must have heard me compliment you, so you had to go screw it up. Okay, I am going to be honest. This person is actually saying some decent crap. At times. She just screwed it up. The right does not try to silence the left. Conservatives do not try to silence leftists. They are seriously worried about people's goods. what you just brought up about sex ed, we have facts. You start exposing kids to sexual themes and things like that at a young age, and it will mess around with their head and screw them up. And that's how we get things like pedophiles and perverts. Heck, talk to any person that is an obvious pervert. They normally have a story about how they discovered porn at age 8. I'm not joking. I've talked to my fair share of perverts in my day. Okay? We do not try to silence things because they counter our opinions. We like the idea of free speech. I will reward somebody for using their free speech, even if it's going against what I'm saying. Unless, of course, they're a demon, then they get a shotgun in the face, but that's beside the point. Okay? Freedom of speech is not something conservatives block like that. If we are pushing to get something silenced, as you want to put it, we've got a good reason. And we've normally got facts to prove it's a good reason. Okay? Heck, the game rating system, the ESRB, that there, I agree with that. I'm the star of one of the most violent games out there. And even I can understand that if you let a 4-year-old play my game, you're gonna be screwed up. That kid is going to have some serious problems. Same goes for sex ed. If you seriously want to put a sex ed class in school, maybe you should put it in college instead of middle school. 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds are learning about how to have sex. And they're not actually learning the biology behind it. They're learning how it's a good thing. Want proof? I'll link in the description a sex ed class. I will link a curriculum for sex ed, and just so you can read it and see what I mean. And just remember, they're giving that crap to 13-year-olds. 13-year-olds.
To some, harm is a problematic opinion. Harm is hate speech. Harm is inciting violence.
Yes, to degenerate snowflakes, harm is having their opinions denied by somebody that's got a brain in their head. Or as you call it, hate speech. Hate speech isn't real. Hate speech is a term the left use to try and shut down people with differing opinions. And the people who think that hate speech is a form of harm are literally snowflakes. They are easily hurt. If you look at them cross-eyed, they'll be offended. Don't give me that bull crap about hate speech, dummy.
The other pole of this issue is the perspective that there is no such thing as harmful speech, that speech can't hurt you. Therefore, all speech should be permitted, no matter what. I fall somewhere between these two perspectives. My opinion is that speech can be emotionally harmful if it causes pain or shame or dehumanizes you. It can also be physically harmful if it incites or advocates violence against someone.
Oh my gosh. Did I seriously just hear that right? That hate speech, as you want to call it, can cause physical harm? No, you retard. Just because somebody beats somebody up and we're inspired by what somebody said, would you say, doesn't mean that speech gives physical harm. That's the same as blaming a murder on somebody who gave a speech. Okay? Let's say that's... You want to know what you just said? You just said that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. Really? If we're gonna say that things that somebody say can cause physical harm because it can cause somebody else to do physical harm to a person, you have to look at it that way. Martin Luther King Jr. said things that pissed a guy off, so that guy assassinated him. What you're saying is basically the same as saying Martin Luther King Jr. committed suicide, you stupid retard. Scratch that. You just went past full retard and ran straight to potato. Of course, you were talking smart there for a while, so you had to go quick make up for it with as much retard as you could come up with. Retard's gonna retard, I guess. Holy crap.
But these two harms don't pose the same amount of threat to an individual in the context of political speech. So they shouldn't be treated as equal forms of violence. You know, if we're gonna say a slur is just as violent as punching someone in the face, to me, that minimizes the egregiousness of punching someone in the face.
Or it could be adding to the seriousness of a racial slur or whatever sort of slur, which seems to be what you leftists and feminists actually are aiming for. You're not trying to degrade the seriousness of punching somebody in the face. You're trying to increase the seriousness of cracking a black joke. Seriously, I'm not joking. That is what you're intending to do. Okay? You were about to sound smart again. You almost sounded smart. But you screwed it up because you actually literally got the exact opposite of the truth. When they compare punching somebody in the face to a slur, they're literally saying a slur is the equivalent of punching somebody in the face. And you can argue that just means they're both equal, so which matters, which one's more serious. Trust me, listen to a feminist or a leftist of any sort talk, and they will make it sound serious. So no, it doesn't downgrade the seriousness of one. It upgrades the seriousness of the lesser of the two.
So I tend to agree with the interpretation by a lot of human rights organizations, which is that harmful speech starts where it incites or advocates violence.
Or it just plain doesn't exist, and people are responsible for their own actions. You see, the problem with saying that speaking can cause physical violence like that is putting the responsibility on the innocent party.
You know, I think the definition of harm is being pushed too far in regard to political speech, that this heightened level of sensitivity is actually resulting in some censorship. Not de jure like government censorship, the technical definition of it, but de facto censorship.
Or harm could mean when you're hurt. You know, like when I decide I'm gonna pick up a Hell Knight and use his horn to beat his freaking face in. I think that is harm. That's the dictionary definition. Okay? Harm is when somebody is hurt, not when somebody's insulted. And I agree with you. I think that this oversensitivity of you snowflakes is leading to censorship. I think it's leading to all sorts of censorship. Government, non-government, whatever.
You know, in practice, by shutting down platforms for speech and driving it underground, or by making ideas too taboo to be allowed to talk about. I also feel like this approach doesn't very well promote social justice. For one thing, when you think about it, suppression of speech is just a band-aid. It doesn't really address the systemic inequality or the mentality that lies at the root of these problems.
No, it's not a freaking band-aid. Suppression of speech is a wall. It's a barricade made to keep out differing opinions. Okay? There is no boo-boo to be putting a band-aid on. What we're doing is we're telling the little 4-year-old society that, oh, you got a boo-boo because you anything, really. Oh, you got a boo-boo because little Timmy said you're mean. Let's put a band-aid on your elbow, when in reality, He's perfectly fine, and that Band-Aid just so happens to be Trump's frickin' wall. Okay? Suppression of speech. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not something to help heal wounds. There's no wounds to be healed. No, it's that giant robot from the Transformer movies. It's a block. It is designed to keep differing opinions out. It's designed to make sure that people get their way, and not a good way either. It's designed so that very bad things can happen to this country and the people in it.
It just sort of shuts the conversation down. It also has a clear backfire effect. It makes those poor, censored voices more sympathetic to a moderate audience.
Though I freaking despise your choice of words, you're again starting to sound smart. Censorship like this only pisses people off. It doesn't make you guys look good. And then the people that you're censoring just get more upset. There's a reason you guys lost the election. It's not because America's sexist. It's because you guys pissed us off enough to vote for that guy. Now, I don't agree with everything Trump says or does, but I don't disagree with everything either. But one thing is for certain, I was pissed off enough to choose him. Because I'm tired of your guys' censorship and stupidity. Amongst other things, but that's for another video.
You know, case in point, Milo Yiannopoulos. The way I see it, the internet already gives everyone a huge platform, you know, much bigger than a university can offer. They're already on the internet. They're gonna be there. We should talk about it. I think we should address things head on. Through open dialogue, we can parse out ideas and really see what they're made of. And in response, everyone else has free speech too. They can dissent, they can protest, they can ask critical questions, they can counter the narrative, they can, highlight fallacies.
They can start riots and destroy people's private property. And, what else? They can kill cops and all sorts of wonderful things, yeah.
And moral failings of the argument. So all of this comes to a head in a brutally bizarre spectacle that happened last week amongst feminist scholars who appear to be cannibalizing themselves as usual. It all started with a feminist philosopher's publication in the philosophy journal Hypatia about transracialism. So in the paper, she examines arguments that are used for transgender equality and basically finds that that logic can be applied to race as well. She highlights some of the logical inconsistencies and weaknesses in the arguments that are used against someone like Rachel Dolezal. It's a controversial topic and a controversial conclusion, and she may well have some things wrong. But instead of refuting her arguments on their logical merits, the academics penned an open letter claiming that the paper needs to be revoked, citing its various harms.
Okay. I don't think the people you're attacking would have done that, but alright. I have a feeling that there is a bigger, deeper reason there, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. She could be right. They could have just tried to take it down and not attacked her logical arguments, but I have a feeling that there was a plenty of people there. I have a feeling that there were plenty of people who did try. I'm having a feeling that that was a last resort, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just guessing. I didn't see that. Okay? I watched the video, I didn't read the article, so I'm not going to complain about the article. I didn't read the article, so I'm not going to complain about it. Maybe I'll do that in another video. Until then, I'm dealing with this person's stupidity.
Including, using the wrong word, degrading trans people by comparing them to Dolezal.
Oh no, somebody went and screwed up and used the wrong word in a sentence by accident. That's so racist and so sexist. Let's go complain about it. Do you know how stupid that is? To list using the wrong word? You know there are plenty of stupid people out there, right? I mean, look at me. I keep stuttering and I know half the words I'm trying to say. Actually, I know all of them. But still. You're going to list that? That is retarded on so many levels. I mean, yeah, retard's gonna retard, but this is like a completely different level of retard here.
And having read the paper, the accusations that are made in this open letter are a complete misrepresentation of her argument to an extreme degree, which really makes this whole ordeal all the more troubling. These are not grounds to censor an academic paper. They're not grounds to ruin someone's academic reputation. I mean, what's the end goal here? Is it that, only a very specific perspective can be heard in a philosophy journal?
Well, that's what you dang frickin' leftists seem to think. I mean, we can't say anything without having a bunch of complaints and problems, but hey, I guess that's just us. I guess when it happens to you, it's actually a problem.
Exploring feminisms? Like, that strikes me as very contradictory. And more generally, should publications, reject papers that don't agree with majority opinion? Like, that makes no sense. So
Yes, it does, actually. We live in a free country with freedom of speech and freedom of the press. People can publish whatever they want to publish, and people cannot publish whatever they don't want to publish. So if somebody doesn't want to publish something on their website or in a news article because it doesn't agree with what they're doing, they've got that right. Does that mean it's always moral? No, sometimes it's freaking retarded. I mean, if you're not going to publish something because it was written by a black guy, then I'd have a problem, but you don't really hear about that often. No, what this is they didn't want to publish it because it didn't fit with what this website normally publishes, I'm assuming. At least not this audience. The website can allow all of it, but if their audience doesn't want it, then they have to listen to the audience. The wonders of a free market. You can publish and post whatever you want to publish and post. And if it's a crappy idea, the public will give you the backlash. It will hurt. Okay? They have the right to say, I don't want to post this. And you know what? The people have the right to say that they don't want to see it posted. Does that mean the website needs to listen to them? Hell no. It doesn't. Okay? The website just has... Okay, the publishers have just as much freedom as the people reading the paper. And I'm going to be honest, if people are going to be that damn salty about it, they can just click off the page. But it makes sense because the publisher owns what they're publishing. The people decide what they read. And there is a comment section on things like this for a reason.
So this is a pretty big concern of mine, and I've felt this way for a long time. It affects my work, it affects the way that I can interact with people, the things I can talk about, the people I can talk to. And this is not to say that censorship doesn't occur on the right, because it absolutely does. They just tend to censor different issues.
Yes, while you leftists are busy censoring articles that say, hey, I don't think this is right and maybe we should approach it differently. That's what you guys on the left do. We on the right, us conservatives, we're censoring things because we don't want to see our kids taking a chainsaw and shoving it up a demon's asshole. Or because we don't want our kids learning how to stick their rod up another person's bum. Because we actually want to see good things happen. We don't censor things that disagree with us. We censor things that are dangerous in a sense. Okay? With a lack of better words. And really, when was the last time you ever heard of a big Republican or conservative push to censor something? Last one I remember was the ESRB, and both sides agreed on that one.
So where does this leave us? I want to continue these conversations, which is why soon I'm going to be launching a series of live debates with feminists and anti-feminists. So in the comments, let me know if you have an idea of someone that I should invite on, or if you have ideas of topics that we should debate. And as for that red pill, well.
As for the red pill, I put arsenic in it, so go ahead and take it. And great, now we can go watch as the retard oozes out of your head. Now we can watch it live. Oh, crap. Well, fellas, if you want to see the original video, I will leave it in the description below. And I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to subscribe to your old pal Doomguy here. Make sure you rate and leave a freaking comment. Tell me who I should beat the crap out of next. Well, I'm gonna call this one a night, so I hope to see y'all next week. See you around and make sure you keep ripping and tearing.